Valley, hooey Hollywood. Where any office boy
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of That Movie Show. Mike Wendt and Eddie McCabe. You can follow us on social media at Mike Wendt, at the Eddie McCabe. And That Movie Show is on the web, the intranets. At
the interwebs.
At, what is it? Thatmovieshow.net? There it is. Took a second.
It's that quarantine show. It's fine.
A quarantine show, man. Every day is blurring together. Before we jump into the movie today, how have you been spending the week?
I recently purchased Final Fantasy VII, the remake for PlayStation 4. So I've been spending my time doing that.
Okay.
It's based off of the 1997, I think, PlayStation 1 classic.
That would compute, yeah.
And it's fantastic.
You know, the classic 7th sequel.
Yeah.
How many franchises can say that?
Madden.
Madden? Yeah. Is it really, though? Because those don't count as sequels. That's like football season. It's like every year there's a new one. You wouldn't call next season the sequel to last season.
That's true. Although somebody does, I don't know where it is on the internet, but I've seen it pop up from time to time. There is somebody that takes the Super Bowl and treats it as if it was a championship belt. So it's just the regular season. There's no playoffs in this, but it's whoever was the Super Bowl champion. And then they just follow the Packers lost to the Bears, so they're the champion now. And then the Bears won a bunch of games, but then lost to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are the champion. So it just it computes that way, and it's bananas to watch.
Sounds very confusing.
Yeah. So
I'm someone who doesn't even understand fantasy football, so that sounds even more confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you been watching anything besides your PlayStation?
Criminal Minds. Still watching that because there's
What season are you on?
I'm on season 4.
14.
Yeah, there's 12 on Netflix, and I'm on season 4. So, we're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Sporadic movies here and there. Things that are just on Disney Plus. I've been going through and watching the movies that I haven't seen.
Okay.
So I never saw Princess and the Frog, and so I watched Princess and the Frog. I haven't seen the Cars movies, and so I'm sorry. They're not gonna get there. Good. No, they're not.
I am not a fan. When I was doing overnight radio, I burned through all the Cars and the Planes spin-off movies, and man, they are my least favorite Pixar thing.
Oh yeah, it's crazy because clearly the market, that was when they made their shift from we're a serious movie studio to oh no, we're just gonna whore ourselves out.
We're gonna make things that are gonna turn into theme parks.
Yeah, because
that's the blue.
I remember that. I remember hearing nothing about the Cars franchise, but little young kids loved Lightning McQueen.
Sure.
And so, he was everywhere. And it's just oh, you're not good enough of a character for me to care. Buzz and Woody are good characters, whereas he isn't.
No, he's not. But yeah, they were. I think they were making like I said, making movies not only to basically build a theme park land, but also to sell toys.
Yeah,
I don't see a lot of kids running out to get the Up dolls.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So I think they were we need a toy franchise, and we've exhausted Toy Story. I watched Toy Story 4 this week.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I know I sent you a text immediately. I was like, okay, here's a few thoughts. Ducky and Bunny, hilarious. They were the only parts of the movie I actually lifted up my head from my phone. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's funny. Okay, and of course it's Key and Peele, so good on them.
Yeah.
Duke Kaboom,
love
all
Duke.
In. Duke Kaboom. The second he showed up, I'm like, okay, this is fun. We're having fun now.
Yeah.
Woody is a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
From the jump, from the very beginning of the movie, I'm like, something's off right now.
Yeah.
I'm immediately when the movie started, I was like, why is my brain telling me I don't like Woody?
Yeah. The whole thing with the movie in general is one, didn't need to happen. And two, it feels like this was the alternate number 3, because it's like, I get what you're doing. I get like, oh, like Woody was the top dog when it came, or the top toy when it came to Andy,
Right.
but now Andy grew up, they've moved on, and he's not the top toy anymore, you
Right.
know? And it's just like, it's him dealing with that. And like, it just doesn't punch as hard as 3 did, where it's like, I get your emotional message, and like, and then the end of the movie, oh man, like it just like get Chatty Gabby, whatever, the evil antique shop doll, where, you know, it's just like, wow, you're laying it on real thick for being the bad guy, you know? And then the whole thing is that girl's crazy and she wants the toy to be able to talk, and like Woody gives that up. It's just like, oh, I don't like any of this. I don't like any of the stuff that you've.
No, they should have wrapped it up at 3.
Yeah.
And it was, and you said it in text, it was a logical ending. And it was, because it was the story of Andy's toys.
Right.
Well, now they're no longer Andy's toys. And I know I said it to you, and I've actually said it to a couple people who have commented on social media because I posted about it. There's no way you can convince me that Bonnie would choose Woody as her favorite toy. The old pull string cowboy
Ragdoll
is not this girl's favorite toy. It just isn't.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
It's just not, especially when she's really into making fucking trash.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and by the way, we're not doing Toy Story 4. We will get to Mad Max in a few minutes.
Yeah, and the thing is like, it makes a lot of sense when she like favors Jesse more than Woody, you know, and like those type of things make a lot of sense. And like, I get the progression of the story. I just don't think it was a story that we needed to tell.
Definitely not for 2 hours.
Yeah. I was more of a fan of everything before Toy Story 4, where it would just like, we would just like check in with them, and there'd be like these little 8-minute shorts.
Oh yeah. And they did a bunch of like TV specials too. Like they did there was a couple of Halloween specials.
Right.
And those are fun. They're 30-minute shorts, and they're great. They're
right.
Fine.
And so it's like, I would have loved Toy Story to kind of continue that way. Now I get like
making money.
Well, right. But it's like, you have Tom Hanks, and how expensive, you know, like it's not cost effective to bring Tom Hanks in to film, you know, to record voiceovers for a 30-minute special. Like, it's just not cost effective, you know, as opposed to like a full-blown sequel where you can justify bringing in Tom Hanks.
Especially not in the streaming world where you can't really get advertising dollars. It was one thing when they were running on ABC and you could charge Coca-Cola $10 million, but
right. Yeah.
Now where people are paying $6 or most of us have Verizon, it's for free for a year. They're not going to make their return unless this shit hits theaters.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, I get it, but again, I think that it just kind of undercuts the emotional journey that Woody went on in 3. You know what I mean? It just kind of undercuts that whole thing. So, yeah, I mean, it's worth a watch, because what else are you going to do?
I guess. I mean, that's basically what it was. It was like, all right, I'm having breakfast. What am I going to watch? Well, I've been putting off Toy Story 4 for long enough. Why the hell not?
Yeah, I did think it was better than Onward.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
100%.
I thought it was
better
than Onward.
I think we can both agree we didn't really like Onward. It's in the archives.
Yeah.
Our disdain is in the archives.
Yeah, we're not a big fan. But yeah, other than that, it's worth a watch, because, like, you know, again, what are you going to do? You know what I mean?
2 hours.
It kills 2 hours in these long, never-ending days. This is the longest leap year, because I'm pretty sure this is, like, we haven't hit March yet, right? Like, we're just still in the leap year.
In week 72 of the basketball championships.
Yeah, right.
But all right, let's get to a movie that we do like.
A movie that was robbed of Best Picture.
Oh, we'll get there. Mad Max Fury Road.
Because Action Movie Week, or Action Movie Month, Action Quarantine.
Action Movie Quarantine. I think we're going to do that. We did Commando. This was Mad Max was requested on our Twitter, and what the hell? We might as well have some fun during this, and really, and I mean like real action movies, not like today's we're gonna make an action movie for art house. Fuck all that. No. I mean, like
Blow
movies
shit
like
up.
Commando.
Yeah, we're gonna blow shit up.
We're gonna blow shit up for blowing shit up's sake. Action movie quarantine on that movie show from here on out. So if you got your action movie requests, hashtag that movie show. Let's get into Mad Max Fury Road. It was released May 15th of 2015. It had a budget varying, and this is actually one of the trivia facts I have, between 150 and 185 million dollars. I'll get to the trivia in a bit, and it also plays into why the sequel is being delayed. It brought back 375.2 million at the box office, making some money. Highest grossing Mad Max film. It was written by George Miller, Brendan McCarthy, Nico. Nope. It was directed by George Miller. Stars Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, and a cast of insane people.
Yes.
They just opened up the insane asylum and let loose. The big name from the Mad Max franchise is Hugh Keys Byrne, who was the main baddie in the original 1979 Mad Max, and he plays Immortan Joe, the main baddie in Fury Road as well, which is pretty cool to bring him back.
Yeah.
So before we jump into the movie, that trivia fact I was mentioning, and the reason that Mad Max The Wasteland is being delayed is because George Miller, director and creator of Mad Max, his production company and Warner Brothers are currently in a dispute over unpaid bonuses following the release of Mad Max Fury Road. Apparently, Miller's company was set to receive a $9 million bonus if the production budget came in under $157 million.
Okay.
It did, but the studio required reshoots. They went back to reshoots. The budget inflated to $185 million. Also, the studio is claiming that the contract was for a 100-minute PG-13 film, and Miller delivered a 120-minute R-rated film. So, lawsuits, and that's why we're waiting on Mad Max 5. But you know what? It took us 30 years to get Fury Road. I'm sure we can all.
We can also, this is okay if this is the only Mad Max we get for a while. It was robbed because it was nominated for Best Picture in 2015. The nominees that year was The Reverend, The Martian, Brooklyn, Bridge of Spies, The Big Short, Room, not to be confused with the Tommy Wiseau masterpiece, The Room.
Yes.
And Spotlight, which ended up winning Best Picture. And having watched all of those movies, Mad Max Fury Road is the best movie that year.
On our Oscar special this year, we ran down basically did what you just did. We ran down the last 10 years of Best Picture nominees and basically picked our winners, which we've said it many times on the show. The Oscars kind of end up becoming not about which movie wins, but why certain movies lost.
Yeah.
You know, like the year we talked when we reviewed Get Out, it's in the archives. Yeah. And I think we both were like, yeah, this isn't going to win Best Picture, but it's going to be the movie that 10 years from now we're going to be saying, why didn't this win Best Picture? Because nobody's going to remember what the fuck won.
Yeah, right. Of course. One of the really cool things is, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but they did a feature on it on YouTube on Rocket Jump Film School. Freddie W. and his production team over there, they talked about the visual effects of this movie. Mm-hmm. And for a majority of the movie, they're like driving through canyons and all those crazy nonsense. Yep. And the craziest fact about that is that none of those mountains are real. They were just in flat deserts and then CGI'd the mountains in after the fact. It's bananas.
Right before we started recording, I finished watching. I watched Fury Road, and then on the Blu-ray, there's a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. So I watched one. It was about 25, 30 minutes, and it's amazing. I mean, that's itself is very cool, and the fact that they were like, the only reason we want CGI is to remove safety stuff like wires and harnesses, and to make the background pretty. But watching it, like real cars making real crashes, real stuntmen having real stunt shit happen. It's like even those I forget what they call them, but the guys that are swinging on the poles back and forth, and it's like there were real dudes on those poles driving and jumping on cars at about 140 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's bananas. It also just shows you how much better things are when you can do them in camera.
Yep.
You know, the fact that you can actually have that stunt guy jump in there. Now, again, like the fact that you can digitally remove a safety harness,
It's a lot better these days.
is a lot better and a lot safer for those people. But, you know, we talk about it when it comes to, like, you look at the Mission Impossible franchise versus the John Wick franchise. Right? Where it's like Mission Impossible, it's done by a bunch of people that aren't stunt people.
Tom Cruise is the greatest stuntman to ever live.
Yeah, you're right. Right. And it just, there's a lot of CGI and there's a lot of, you know, it has that fake look. And I use that like in air quotes because it doesn't mean it's bad, but it's just, you know, then you look at something like John Wick and they got real dogs to really attack people.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's so intricate. And that sequence just looks so much better because, you know, they didn't have, you know, they really shot it. It really happened. And same thing here with Mad Max, where it's just like everything looks real. Everything looks like, because it is. And you can feel like you can touch it. And it just looks better.
The final sequence with the war rig crashing and basically blocking off the tunnel. They had a stunt driver whose name was Lee. The only reason I know is because I literally just watched it. But it was amazing because it's like he was the main war rig driver throughout the movie. And they're like, all right, we have this big sequence, and it's like the rig has to crash, and it has to flip, and it has to hit. Basically, for lack of a better term, for acting term, it has to hit its mark.
Yes.
And it's a giant 18-wheeler that has to flip and hit a mark, and he fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like they showed the behind the scenes, and they showed George Miller in his his video tent there, and he's got all his monitors and shit, and he's watching all the different camera angles, and he saw, because they put the Nux dummy in there. So he was the driver was basically in this little bubble.
Right.
Think of it like a second car inside the rig.
Right.
And so he's in his safe little bubble there. And then they got the dummy, the rubber dummy, who's supposed to be the driver of the rig. Yeah. And while he's watching, he saw the dummy's head pop up through the sunroof as the truck was flipping over. So you actually watched George Miller believe that it was the driver. And he's like, I thought it was the driver coming out. And he's like, I thought it was Lee's head. So you see him, it crashes, and you just see him sitting there like his fingers are twitching because you can tell he's like, oh my God, just give me the sign. Just give me the sign that he's okay. Give me a sign he's okay.
Right.
And all the fire and rescue guys come over, and you see him pop out of the car, and he's like giving a thumbs up, and he's like, oh, thank fucking Christ.
Yeah, right.
It was just the dummy. But yeah, like he hit the mark on a flipping car. It's so cool. It's like the behind the scenes of these types of movies are basically as interesting as the movie itself.
Of course.
Jump into it?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Because this movie hits the gas and it goes from 0 to batshit in like 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The good thing is that just before we actually jump into it, the fact that Tom Hardy just kind of takes over this role is why I am like perfectly okay with the James Bond model of like, hey, let's keep this franchise going. If you have a good story to tell, like, I don't need old man Sylvester Stallone to be Rambo. I would much rather watch somebody else play John Rambo and tell me like a story between 2 and 3.
That's just because you hated Last Blood.
I hated Last Blood. But, for here where it's also like, yeah, if Mel Gibson was in this movie as Max, it wouldn't have been as good.
Well, the funny thing is, the reason we got Tom Hardy is because, much like I'm guessing we're going to experience with the next Mad Max, this one went through about 15 years of development hell. Yeah. And it was originally supposed to be shot in 2003 with Mel Gibson.
Right.
And then it kept getting pushed. And then I think one of the wars had something to do with, like, the real life war had something, like they were filming in like a territory that we weren't allowed to go in, basically, type of thing. Sure. I don't know all the fucking details. I just remember that was one of the stories. But it kept moving and moving and moving, and finally it was like, okay, well, Mel is a bit too old to be Max right now.
Right.
If you saw Expendables 3, as jacked up as Mel Gibson is right now,
yeah, it wouldn't have.
And it could have been interesting. Like I mean, everybody loved Logan.
Yeah.
You know, like an old man Max could have been interesting, and still could be an interesting story to tell.
Right.
But for this movie, for Fury Road, you needed a person of Tom Hardy's age.
Yes, correct. And yeah, this movie just goes.
It hits the gas.
It just hits the gas. I don't know if we're beyond Thunderdome. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what's happening.
Well, that's also the kind of the cool thing about the Mad Max series is they're kind of anthology movies at this point.
Yeah.
You know, like the first one and then Road Warrior kind of followed a similar storyline of Max, you know, but once they got the Thunderdome and now this, and it's just like, we're just kind of telling stories, you know, and especially because in Fury Road, Max is kind of, he's very much a supporting character to Furiosa. You paused on me. Oh, you paused. Okay. Well, I don't know which side recorded that. So we're going to rewind here and go back to,
that quarantine show.
Fucking quarantine. Goddamn. They're cutting our internet. It's a man. Anyway, what I like about the Max series now is they become basically anthology movies. You know, where the first two, Mad Max and then Road Warrior, kind of followed a very linear Max story. You know, the cop that turned into the Wasteland warrior type of thing.
Yeah, right.
But now it's like this and Thunderdome were very much standalone stories, you know, told with, okay, Max is around. And in this one, he's very much a supporting character to Charlize Theron's Furiosa.
Yeah, she's the main character of this. It should have been Furiosa Road.
Well, I think that was actually one of the plans for either a prequel of her or a sequel with her. Which again, you know, they got to get their shit together and make them. But
yeah, of course.
Before we're, you know, having Millie Bobby Brown play Furiosa.
Yeah, right.
Those going to happen
eventually. Yeah,
eventually. But yeah. So you want to jump into it?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. So we start with obviously, as most Mad Max movies start, in the Wasteland.
Yeah.
With narration.
Yes.
Australian narration.
Yeah. And Mad Max, or Max, is captured right away.
Yeah, as he usually is. I mean, if you've watched the Max movies, yeah, he runs from people, and then they capture him.
Yeah. And
being a loner in the Wasteland is not a cool idea.
No. And it's just like, I don't even, like, this is part of the thing that I like about this movie, where it's just like, yeah, I don't know who, like, Joe is. I don't know what territory he runs, but he's got some weird ass boys. And
whoa, boys.
Yeah, he's got some weird ass boys. And basically, I think they're all inbred. I don't know. Well,
kind of.
So, yeah, basically they capture Max because they're basically like using people as like IV bags. Basically.
Literally. They're like, literally called blood bags.
Like, that's bananas. Like, it's like, I don't even know what you're doing, but it's just like, yeah, because we meet Nux and he's just dying. Like, I don't know, like, they didn't say he was like in a battle or anything.
I don't understand it all. They're obviously depleted of resources. We get that much from the introduction of Immortan Joe, who literally has to be put together by people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, apparently I don't really understand it, but everyone's kind of like, they look like they're rotting away.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got weird shit, like weird markings on their backs and their faces and stuff. And some of it is put on there deliberately. Some of it's like, you know, branding and tattoo and shit. But then, like, you look at Immortan Joe's back when they, like, I don't know, they blow in like sand or flour or something on to get his pieces all put together.
Yeah.
And it's weird as shit. But he obviously is the cultish leader in this situation. And he's basically he's hoarding the water supply, it seems.
Right. He's also clearly dying, you know, which is like a main part of it, because it's like, you look at like when dictators aren't in great health, they do stuff like that, where he's got the big breastplates and things on that like obscure, so you can't see how sick he looks.
Right. And obviously his big scary mask is actually a breathing respirator you get from the airbag that's behind his head. That's when he puts that on, it starts, you know, pumping and breathing and stuff. And also it plays into the fact of how important the women are in this movie, because he's trying to have a son. He's trying to have an heir, which we'll get to a little bit later.
Because the other ones are jacked up.
Yeah, the war boys, who I'm assuming, I mean, they all probably have some part of him in them.
Yeah. Well, there's the big hulking guy is like his son.
Yeah.
It's like his inbred son.
Former pro wrestler Nathan Jones.
Yeah, Nathan Jones.
But yeah, so that, and because I have a little brother, and that whole scene when he realizes it was a kid, a boy. But yeah, and they all call him father. Like even the weird little person thing in the wheelchair thing. Yeah, I don't know what it looks like, a snot with eyeballs.
Yeah.
But like even they all call him father. So whether it's an actual biological term or whether it's a term of endearment because of the cult leader status.
Yeah, right.
Either way, he's got all these motherfuckers brainwashed that they're all gonna follow into Valhalla with him.
Yeah, weird culty nonsense. But yeah, basically he's gonna send Furiosa off to, one of the other trading partners. He's going to give them water, and then it's like they're either going to get gas.
Well, they're going to two places. They're going to, and I love how simple they are. One is the bullet farm.
Yeah.
And the other is the gas.
It's gas
house. Gas town. Gas town and bullet farm.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we know what we're getting. We're going to get gas and we're going to get bullets.
Yeah.
Next
we're going to go to
the war rig driver here.
Yeah. And so like they make a huge pomp and circumstance about her going off, it seems like there's, some sort of significance to this ride. I don't know what the plan is.
I think initially, as far as Immortan Joe and as far as the war boys and everybody involved in this, except for Furiosa and the brides, it's just another run. They're going to get gas and they're going to get bullets. That's what they're going to do. Right. But she has obviously other plans to basically liberate the brides or whatever the mothers, whatever the hell you want to call these girls that he's captured and he's been trying to impregnate. So she takes a hard left and is going east.
Yeah.
And at first, because there's obviously war boys all over these freaking cars. One of them climbs over and she's like, "We're going east," and he thinks that's just what's happening. It's not a regular supply run. We're going east, and everybody keeps asking why, and she's not answering shit. And at a certain point, they let Joe know, "Hey, your shit's going east.
Yeah,
not towards the gas town."
Yeah, they're not going to gas town. They're going somewhere else. And then that's where he finds out that the girls are missing, and basically sends more war boys after the rig.
This is where the movie just immediately goes. And I actually paused it. It was at the 17-minute mark, and I'm like, okay, 17 minutes, and this movie is off the rails.
Yeah.
Because they load up everything. There's like 140 cars out in the road now.
Yeah.
And one of them is just for music.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The one
Live
guy.
Music.
Yeah. The guy that's just standing behind a wall of speakers and just has bungee cords attached to him so he can jump around and play the bass.
By the way, it's a bass that shoots flames.
That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot about that part. That
shoots flames, and on the back of this truck, you have like basically a drum group that's just beating on drums. So every good hero needs a soundtrack. Yeah. Shaft had his. Immortan Joe has this fucking guy.
Yeah. Yes. You're 100% right. And so
orchestra driving with him.
Basically, Furiosa drives into a sandstorm while Mad Max is just like strung out on the hood of a car.
Well, yeah, because Nux is our main war boy here. He's the one that is with us throughout the movie, and he apparently is a driver, and he's sick or dying or whatever. He's low on blood, obviously, so he's hooked up to Max when all this shit's going down. And I guess the guy, I don't know what they're called. He does say it, but there's so many weird phrases in this fucking movie. I couldn't keep track of all. But basically, it's like his his gunner, for lack of a better term. So Nux is the driver, and this guy's riding on the back of the car, blowing shit up.
Yeah,
he's the fighter in the car. So he grabs the steering wheel, and he's like, "I'm driving. I'm promoting myself." And Nux is him fighting, and they're like, "You can't even stand up." Blah blah blah. And he just like strapped my blood bag to my car. So they strap Max to the hood of the car, and away we go.
It's just this hood ornament. Oh man, it's nonsense. But there's an amazing sequence where they drive through a sandstorm. The only thing missing was Darude's Sandstorm playing. Like, that was the only thing missing. People are dying. They're getting sucked up into weird sand tornadoes.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy bananas. But yeah, Furiosa basically just murders a bunch of people to save these girls.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the crutch of the story. And it's even described in the behind the scenes I watched. One of the producers was like, "Yeah, the first half of this movie is a chase, and the second half is a race."
Yes.
Basically, if you look at it that way, it's like the first half of the movie is driving one way, and the second half is driving back.
Yeah. Yeah, because basically Furiosa's whole idea is that she's going to take these girls to basically like the green place, which is that like land equivalent from Waterworld.
Yeah. I mean, it's what it's basically where she was born and raised until Joe took her. Yeah. And it's basically, and that's what that's their, each one of these Max movies has that theme behind it. Like Thunderdome, when he finds that, basically that group of people, that village of people, they're looking to go to like Tomorrowland, and it's all based on past events. So they had like the slideshow thing, and it was basically a tourism slideshow showing them, this could be your journey, and it's bright and sunny, and the water is blue. So they're trying to get the plane that crash landed to take them back. In Road Warrior, it's the old man with his pamphlet again, his tourism pamphlet of fucking sandy beaches and tropical drinks and nothing to do but breed. It's like, all right, we get it. So they all have a dream, and hers was where she grew up. It was the green place, meaning it was healthy.
Yeah, right. There were plants.
Because we can tell that obviously their resources are depleted because of Joe and the water situation that we opened up with. Right. But we learn through the course of this journey that the green place is now the swamp. Basically, it's a swamp they drive through. The water turned into poison. Yeah,
right. The water turned into poison, and there's just nothing. I watched it a couple days ago. She meets her mom, right? It's like,
well, no, but she meets basically, for lack of a better term, her mother's tribe.
Right. That's
to get them to recognize her, she runs down who she is, and her mother was this, and she was from this tribe, and blah 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 blah. Yeah. And but that's when we that's way into the movie at this point. Yes. But so big car fight.
Oh, huge car fight.
Car fight. A lot of shit blowing up.
Yeah.
Max does basically release himself from the hood of the car,
right,
and knocks out Nux, and basically crashing and all this stuff, and a lot of shit blows up.
Yeah, basically they end up finding each other at the end. Like, she's freeing all the girls because they all have like chastity belts on, and they're like using bolt cutters to get off of them. It's crazy because there's not a whole lot of dialogue in this movie, especially when it comes from Max.
I believe he might have 8 lines in the whole movie. I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, like he doesn't have a whole lot of lines. He basically grunts at Furiosa to like take off the mask thing that he's wearing.
Yep.
And that's about it. Like
him trying to get that mask off with basically the big file.
Yeah.
It always like gets a giggle out of me because he's like scraping so fucking hard and so fast, and you can tell they obviously sped up the film just by the erraticness of it. And I love that feeling of like the way his eyes are darting all over the place, and he's just scrape trying to get this thing off of his face, and then finally does. Actually, one of the jackets they used in this sequence, it's worn by Nux, and and Tom Hardy takes it off of him was the actual jacket that Mel Gibson wore in Road Warrior.
Oh, cool.
Apparently they still fucking had it, and then they obviously had replicas of it, just for whatever's sake. But speaking of jackets, it was one of my favorite moments of any Academy Awards, because this movie did win 6 Academy Awards.
Yes.
They were all on the technical side of things. They were, let me see, costume design, production design, makeup and hair, film editing, and sound mixing. Of course, it was nominated also for Best Director, Best Picture, as we mentioned. But the best part about them winning all these technical awards is they all kind of came in order. And the Mad Max crew was obviously given tickets in the back of the theater. Yeah. And it looked like when they won, the Hells Angels were descending on the stage. Because it's just this rowdy bunch of fucking Australians clad in leather and chains coming up and giving one speech after the next speech after the next speech. And they just were awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean that was nonsensical, and that was probably the best reason I wanted them to win. Right. I mean, the movie deserved it, but if it won Best Picture and those animals closed out the movie, that would have been awesome.
It would have been wonderful, and it should have won. It really should have.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's getting himself free and trying to figure. I mean, they're basically, it's a cat and mouse game between Furiosa and Max for the first portion of it. They have their little tussle. They have a little fight, but ultimately she needs him as much as he needs her in this moment, because they look over their shoulder and, well, the fucking cavalry's on the way. Literally, there is just a wall of trucks coming.
Yeah, the entirety of one of those like demolition derbies is just on its way. Yeah. And they have a guy with a base that shoots flames.
Yes, as you do. As you do.
And like, he doesn't want to go back to those people. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
he wants to get away. They're trying to get away. I think ultimately, through no verbalizing of anything, they basically decide, okay, we both need the same thing. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's just get out of here. And they basically, in the entire time, Nux is like still holding on to the brainwashed cult nonsense, because he doesn't want, like, he is the most interesting character in this movie, because Furiosa and Max don't
he's the only one that goes through a change,
right? And then the girls are just one note the entire time, basically. But Nux is having this like conflict of religion, basically, because he's like, everything I know is about Joe and how godlike he is, but now I'm being opened up to how awful he is.
Right.
And so like he tries to kill Furiosa, but then doesn't. And like, it's just, he falls in love with one of the brides. Like, it's.
Yeah, because ultimately, Joe and his crew catch up to them. And it's one of those things where it's after the motorcycle thing.
Right.
So they go into the canyon, and I think they're either supposed to drop off or pick up gas.
Yeah.
And she had a deal set, and it goes sideways, and they have to haul ass out of there, and the fucking canyon turns into, motorcycle chase, and guns, blowing, crash. And then they basically, Nux gets back with Joe. And he's like, oh, I was on the war rig. I was with them. And he's like, okay, well, you're now my guy. Get in my car. And because he has the little piece of cloth from one of the brides.
Right.
And they're driving, and they get back close. And it was one of the funniest moments, because as they're driving, Joe is given this huge inspirational speech to Nux as Nux is hanging on to the side of his car. And he's like, you're going to get on there, and you're going to kill Furiosa, one bullet into her eye, and blah, 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 blah. And you'll follow me into Valhalla side by side, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, are you ready to do this? And he's like, yes. And he's all excited. And he jumps, and he slips, and he loses the gun. And Joe just looks and goes, mediocre. Takes off. And it's that moment where Nux realizes he failed Joe that I think he started to just be like, well, I failed him. I can't go back now.
Yeah, right.
So that was kind of when he basically stowawayed for a while.
Yeah.
Until the next stop. And then they realized he was there, and he was basically starting to be like, I can help you.
Yeah,
they didn't trust him. They were holding a gun to him while they were trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here. But he was like, look, I can help you. And he ended up having to prove himself at gunpoint, basically, that he could help and that he was actually going to be on their side and start to go through those transformations and stuff like that. He would stop eating paint, which was good.
Yeah, right.
That was a whole weird side thing where, and again, the weird phrasing of everything, where it's clearly Witness Me was clearly their version of kamikaze.
Oh, yes.
Because they would spray the chrome paint into their mouth, yell, "Witness me," and then kill themselves.
Oh, yeah. There was bananas. And
that's how it would go down.
They would just huff that chrome paint.
Witness me. And everybody yell, "Witness," as he fucking blows up.
Yeah, weird. Bananas.
Religion. Yeah. It's a weird thing.
It is a weird thing. And so, yeah, I mean, they're driving off and they try to find the green place and she finds her tribe.
Yep.
And yeah, basically it's like, oh, this used to be it. This was it. And it's not here anymore.
They're like, because they get to basically the pole with the naked girl on the top, which has become a meme now of Tom Hardy going, "That's bait," which it was. Yeah. And Furiosa gets out. She runs down her resume. They all come out, again, on motorcycles. Love it.
Yeah.
And they explain, because she's like, "We're looking for the green place." And she's like, "Well, if you're looking for the green place, you passed it. It was that swampy, gross place because the water is poison and blah, blah, blah." And it's at this moment that, they have an overnight thing. And they're like, okay, well, now we have to go back.
Yeah.
And they're real. And not only do they have to go back, but they have to go back through the swamp, through the storm, and through the apocalyptic war machine that's waiting for them.
Yes.
Because they also realize that the Citadel, which is their home base, which is Joe's home base, is now unguarded. Right. So they can take it over.
Yeah. And basically all the water's there and they can, in theory, release it and make it the green place.
Right.
That's kind of the point. And so, yeah, more bananas car chases through canyons.
Like I said, half the movie, we're going this way.
Yeah.
The other half, we're turning the fuck around and going back.
Yeah, we're going east, and then we stopped, and then we're going west.
We're going west. We get I believe he's the bullet farmer.
Yeah.
The guy that he basically takes off. And he tries to kill Furiosa, and he's driving, and he's shooting, and she basically takes a sniper rifle, blasts his light, and the glass flies in his eyes. So now he's blind,
right.
Which makes him even more insane, because now it's not just, I'm going to try to shoot her. It's give me a machine gun in each hand. I'm going to be blind and just throwing bullets into the world.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, it was so good. But yeah, and we're heading back. And... Again, it's not like there's a lot to dissect in this movie.
No,
it's like we can sit there and break down scene by scene. It's like, yeah, they turned around, more car chase, more explosions, crashing. There were guys on poles swinging back and forth and jumping on the cars. And there was a guy with a flaming bass
that's just playing the thing the whole time. It was
It looked like fucking Flea on steroids.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, God, it was crazy.
It's at a certain point, I think it was in between. Basically, when they were talking with Furiosa's tribe, one of the wives or brides had fallen out of the car and gotten killed, or got run over, and so now Joe was trying to get the baby out of her.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So what the character called the organic mechanic,
yikes,
is just cutting into her, and it's not as graphic as a Serbian film,
but it's close. It's close.
He does pull a baby out of a person, and it's a dead baby.
Yeah,
and he cuts the umbilical cord, and he starts wiggling around like a mini jump rope, and he's like, "Yep, you had a brother, and he was perfect in every way." And that's where that line comes from.
That's right.
And now Joe's really pissed because, yes, in fact, he did have a son. and he did have an heir, and now they fucked that up.
Yeah, and so he's doubly pissed.
Yep.
So we need more flames, more bass, and
He needs more bass.
he needs more bass. Like, he needs to have so much bass that Deadmau5 would, be jealous. That's how much bass this guy needs.
Oh, Jesus, we need more bass. So we're heading back, and we're obviously met by the big tribe of cars. Yeah. And there's a lot of fighting back and forth, and War Boys are just dying left and right.
Oh,
and basically, Max and Furiosa get onto Immortan Joe's car.
Yeah.
And Nathan Jones is left behind on the war rig with Nux driving. And there's, fighting back and forth and blah, 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 blah. And somehow, because Charlize Theron has a mechanical arm.
Yeah, she only got one arm.
She only got one arm. And one of her arms is like mechanical and very geary, very metal, very chrome.
Really
shiny and chrome.
Really cool.
And somehow she gets it locked into Joe's mask.
Yeah.
And then just throws a cable into a wheel, and it just rips his face off.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Face off.
Yeah. That was on TV, and I watched that the other day.
It's also in the archives. Our second episode ever was Face Off.
Oh, man. Yeah, imagine that being number 2.
But yeah, Joe's face just gets ripped the fuck off.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah.
So he's all kinds of dead.
Yeah, he's all kinds of dead. And basically, Nux crashes the war rig into, like, this archway that'll bring everything down so that, like...
Which that was the scene I was talking about earlier where the stunt driver had to hit the mark. It was that scene there. Because basically the plan was for Nux to go back with them. The plan was, once all the brides are safely onto the car, he's going to punch it and jump on himself. But Nathan Jones is still on the hood of your truck. Yeah. And he just gets pissed and starts ripping the fucking engine out by hand.
Yeah, well, because he's big and burly and manly.
Yes. So Nux has his witness me moment, which is the scene I explained, flipping the war rig over and blocking the thing, and the thing crashes down, and all the cars get stuck, and on we go to the Citadel.
Yeah, and so they show up, and they get a hero's welcome as they, like, basically just open the gates, like, literally the floodgates for the water. And
well, they show up, and basically they have Immortan Joe on the hood of the car.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and they pull away the sheet, and it's like he's dead. And everyone starts cheering, and then they rip his body apart.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know if they did it very slick, so it wasn't as graphic as it sounds. But you see, there's villagers with an arm and a leg and body parts of it. They ripped him apart.
Yeah, they tore him to pieces. And so the girls are there, and basically Mad Max just like watches from a distance as
he wanders off into the wasteland.
Yes, he goes back to the wasteland, and they just like basically reopen the water so that everybody can like have water.
Live.
Because that's one of the things that Immortan Joe does at the beginning of the movie is like he opens the water for like a minute and like it rains on everybody and they can all get their water, and then he closes it. And so now, in theory, they're gonna, have
like a good cult leader. He gives them just enough
that
to keep them coming back.
Yeah, they need him.
Yeah.
And so, now everybody's got water and everybody's good to go. Max and Furiosa give sex eyes, but then no, they'll never bone.
Yeah, no. And it's not like in Commando where they shot a sex scene and they just didn't work. No, this wasn't that type of movie.
No, it wasn't that type of movie. He didn't have 11 hours to save his daughter that was 14, but really they wanted her to be like 4.
Look, it's not the movie's fault that Who's the Boss was a hit.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
Go back and listen to Commando in our archives. It's a good one.
I love that movie. That movie is so good.
But yeah, so Max gives her a nod. He wanders off into the wasteland.
Yeah.
Roll credits.
Credits.
That's Mad Max Fury Road.
Mad Max Fury Road.
God.
Yeah, this movie is so good. It's definitely, great. It doesn't feel like a 2-hour movie.
No.
Like that's the crazy part is this movie feels like a tight, like 80 minutes.
Yeah. It really does. And it's funny because it's one of, not only audiences loved it, but critics were all about this movie.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't have much of a story.
No.
Like I remember me and my brother left the theater being like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
What the fuck did we just watch?
Yeah.
We just watched a 2-hour chase.
Yeah. It was like, look, we got into some cars. We're going to the green place. Shit. The green place doesn't exist. Let's go back. That was it.
We watched a 2-hour car crash, literally, and the world loved it.
He does a little bit more, but this is the same type of like nonsense plot that like Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark have, where it's like Indiana Jones is inconsequential to the events of that movie, you know, and like Mad Max, very inconsequential to the events of this movie, yes. You know, for the most part. Like he does more killing of people and like escaping, but like not a whole lot.
He helps, but he's not wildly essential to helping.
Yeah, like if he wasn't
like
there,
it's definitely good that he's helping, but if he wasn't there, they would have figured shit out.
Yeah, they still would have.
And they probably wouldn't have crashed the first time.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have crashed the first time, you know, because he wouldn't have been a part of it or whatever. Right. And, you know, but yeah, it's just like, yeah, for a Mad Max movie, you're the least important part of this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love it. Absolutely. So that's Mad Max Fury Road, the movie that should have won Best Picture that year.
Yes.
Was it Spotlight? One? I mean, nothing against Spotlight. Good movie, but come on.
I hate movies that take place in the recent past. Like that, those type of movies really like annoy me, where it's just like, this wasn't like a movie that we had like 30 years of, you know, distance behind. It was like all of that stuff. And maybe because I'm a crazy person and like time slips away, but it's just like, we've only had like 10 years, you know, somewhere between 10 and 15 between when that all happened.
The funny thing about it is that was a Boston movie.
Yeah.
And then like we also had 2 marathon bombing movies a year after the marathon bombing.
Yeah. It was
2 of them.
Yes. One was the action version and one was the like human spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like that was the most insane part about the Mark Wahlberg one, where it's just like Mark Wahlberg is just this cop that's just like in the middle of everything.
They might as well have named that character Detective Narrator.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on, Officer Narrator here. I'm just going to take you through the story.
Yeah, this is this event. This is this event, and somehow I'm at all of it.
So, like, and I love their explanation for it. It's like, oh well, he was an amalgamation of a number of different. No, he just wanted to be the hero.
Yeah, he just wanted to be the hero.
You had a movie like this where one officer definitely didn't travel the whole course of this thing.
Yeah,
but you needed Mark Wahlberg to save the day.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, one day we will do Patriots Day. Is that the one? Well, one day we'll do Patriots Day, and I will share the story of the night before Boston got locked down and how I almost wandered into that shootout in Watertown.
Myself and Billy, for my old podcast co-host, we were basically in the middle of all that because we were doing the overnight shift at the radio station, and it happened right. We could literally stand on the station roof. And see the police setup over at the Watertown Mall, and then I had to drive home through that. Because I lived in Belmont. So there's a lot of stories, but that's a movie for another day.
It is.
That's not the movie we need in the middle of this pandemic. What we need is more balls out action.
Action movies.
Coming up next week, we're keeping it going with the action movie quarantine and doing Robocop.
Yeah. The original Robocop.
Robocop, rated X.
Yeah. I'm going to find the most unrated version I can find.
I own it. I do. It's available. It is out there. And it was rated X at the time because NC-17 wasn't a thing. I love it.
Amazing.
Next week, Robocop. Thanks for joining us for Mad Max Fury Road here on That Movie Show. Mike Wendt, Eddie McCabe. Follow us on social media at Mike Wendt, at the Eddie McCabe. Hashtag That Movie Show. The website is thatmovieshow.net. You can subscribe to this podcast on any podcasting app. Please tell your friends. Of course, the Facebook page is facebook.com/thatmovieshowtv, where we stream the video version of it every Saturday at a certain time.
Yes.
they used to be in the morning when we did a radio show. Now it's a casual afternoon, evening show.
Yeah,
because
whatever.
we have the ability to do so.
Yeah, because we're in charge of our own destiny.
Goddamn right. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for Robocop.
Bye, everybody.
That's Hooey Valley, hooey ha!